Hey guys, so today I'm going to be teaching you the basics of a DSLR camera. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using the EOS Rebel T6. It's a Canon camera. So follow along, and if you have a different camera, hopefully you can figure it out. It's usually pretty similar. So let's get started. Alright guys, so the first thing to do is turn on the camera, obviously. So if I go to the top right here, is the on switch. Flick that baby on. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff on here. Don't be too overwhelmed by it. It's really quite simple when you get down to it. So first, I'll show you how to change the ISO, the aperture, and the shutter speed. Alright, so the ISO is the camera's light sensitivity, and that can be changed by clicking this top button that says ISO on the trackpad. And there you go. You can move around and pick which one you want. Auto tries to distinguish it based on where you are. The camera will do that for you. And 100 is the optimal ISO you want. There's the least amount of grain. There's also least amount of grain, but it's also used for brighter situations. You'll have the crisp image, the best you can get, really. And it's used for bright situations, you know, like sunny days outside. But if you go down here, 6400 ISO is extremely high. That's only used as a last resort for dark situations, like capturing nature at night, like barn owls. Those tend to come out at night. If you want to do that, you'd be going to this ISO. I'm going to choose 100 though, because that's usually what I use. Alright, the shutter speed is how fast the camera takes a picture. So to change that, well, first off, we have aperture mode, shutter mode, and manual mode. Manual is what you should be striving to use because you can control the aperture and the shutter. But if you're just getting used to it and you want it to be a little easier on yourself, you can go to these different modes. The one is shutter priority mode. That one just lets you change the shutter and will change the aperture for you to accommodate your situation. Likewise, aperture priority mode will let you change the aperture and adjust the shutter for you. Okay, I'm going to go to manual. So I want to change the shutter here. Say I'm going to my brother's tennis game, and I want to get some good pictures of him swinging his racket. For that, you'd have to have a high shutter speed. So to do that, just put low. Because if I have it at 1/20th a second, that's really slow. It's never going to catch the speed. But if I go to this trackpad right here, and I move it to the right, I can buff it up, say 800. Now it's going to get a really crisp image. Or if I want a little bit of motion in there, him like a blurred arm a little bit, so it looks like he's moving it, I can move it down and give it a little bit of flexibility. So that's really good for getting objects moving and sports, you know, running, things like that. Okay. To adjust the aperture when you're in manual mode though, you have to hold in this. It says AV, and then it will switch, and you can do that. The lower you go, the more it will allow you to take a picture with the background blurred and the subject in focus, or you can go higher to try and make the whole image in focus. That's really stylistic choice. It's up to you. So you have to hold in that button to change it. Or if you just go to aperture priority mode, since that's the only thing, it will let you use the trackpad we use for shutter speed. It depends on what mode you're on. Okay. So another thing you can change that's pretty important, you can go to this left button with has like a little clock and some pictures. This is where you can change how the camera takes its pictures. You can get single shoot, which is just one picture. Continuous shoot, if you hold in the shutter button right here, if you hold it in, it will keep taking pictures so you can get the motion of, well, if something's moving, you can get a bunch of pictures just in case some of them are bad. Then over here's the timers. This one's 10 seconds, 2 seconds, or you can make it however you want. Like if you have a really big family gathering, you can bust it up to a minute if you really want to. And yeah, well, I'm just gonna go to single shoot because that's usually what I use. Last thing is white balance here. So white balance is basically matching up the digital display of the white colors to how the white colors actually look in real life. So if I take a picture of a snowman, I want him to look clearly white, not like a dim sandy looking color. So to do that, you just select which one you want up here. You know, the only ones I really use are auto white balance, which goes according to your situation. It's usually what I use. But you can also use daylight in daylight, shade in shady situations, cloudy, it's a little dark outside, and some of these fancier ones for other situations. I'm going to choose auto right now. And I mean, you always take pictures. It's a good idea to click on this photo icon right here and show your photos. Here's some I took in nature. You can look through them, see how they look, make sure they don't look too bad. And you can also use these buttons up here to zoom in. And then you can look around at your picture, make sure anything doesn't look too fuzzy, make sure it looks crisp and clear. Then you can just zoom out again. And then you can always just go back, take some more pictures. One last thing before we wrap up. To use the lens here, you just swivel it. 18 is the widest view, but short range. And this, the 55 is narrow but long, good for getting things a little whitey off. So that's to do that. And this little spot up here, that's what you use if you change it to manual focus. I had it on auto. If you change it to manual focus, you can swivel this to focus in on your subject by looking through the viewfinder. Alright guys, that's it, and I hope you learned something. See ya.